Hello, everyone in MMA Facebook and DOPS Facebook, and welcome to our last and final Ask the Candidates session. And this is the big one with the president-elect. Let me shuffle this around. With me on this side. Yes, sorry. This side is Dr. Ashok Philip, who will now kindly introduce the president-elect. So take it away, Ashok. Yeah.
Thank you, Alan. Today, we have all 4 candidates for president-elect. Quite a crowded field, if you don't mind my saying so. So what we'll do is, we will start off one by one. I think we'll go by alphabetical order of first name. And you'll have 2 minutes at most to introduce yourselves and say a little bit about yourself. And then we will go to the Q&A session, which will be done by monitoring the comments in the Facebook groups. So going by alphabetical order, therefore, I call on Dr. Koka Chai, who is GP and currently the Honorary General Treasurer of MMA, to give his speech. Casey.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Ashok and Dr. Alan, and also Dr. Mohan, Dr. Tamalingam, and Dr. Tana. Okay, let me share with you my journey through MMA. I joined MMA during my housemanship year, but it remained dormant due to the early, stressful years of my medical career, and I became active after joining the Wilayah branch some 2 decades back. I planned my journey through MMA by taking up all eligible positions at branch, till exco and council levels, and also chairing some committees along the way. And I've also been in many committees in MMA. And it's because I knew that I needed to start from the bottom up, learning all that I can from the seniors about MMA, its inner working and its intricacies. I got myself involved in external organizations related to MMA and sat on the committees and boards within the Ministry of Health and interacted with other ministries so that I can understand the health system of this country. I'm committed to MMA, and that can be seen how I got myself elected each time, again and again, when I lose any, or rather if I don't get a post which I wanted to go for, I still come back in. I never once gave up. And yes, this is my second attempt for the president-elect. Never say die. And this was how I managed to serve all the eligible positions, tackling each post one by one till where I am now. And if I were to take the helm of MMA as its president, I had to prepare myself and ensure that I have the merits to take up this position, as I believe that you need to have merits and not just having fulfilled the criteria to be eligible for the position as dictated in the Constitution. So that's it. I can ascertain that I am knowledgeable and experienced, and this gives me the confidence that I need to be at the pinnacle of MMA. And being the president does not mean fulfilling a list of my own agenda. My agenda or my manifesto has only one item, and that is to fulfill the agenda of its members as much as possible during my term of office. MMA is for its members. I'm going to be a forward-thinking president while at the same time upholding its traditions. Where will MMA be without its traditions? And MMA has been rebranding itself since the last 5 years by being inclusive to all in the medical fraternity as we seek to understand the views of others, and also by increasing its engagement with the members. Our MMA Facebook is one of the ways to reach out to them, and our MMA app is being revamped to allow communication among the doctors and having more functions beyond just collecting CBD points. And look at the number of registered participants for our AGM this year. At the last count, we have about 1,500 participants. It's a dream come true, and I'm glad to say that I've been a part of all this throughout the recent years. That's all I have to say for the time being. Thank you, Dr. Ashok.
Some problem. Let me call on Dr. Mohan Singh, who is a radiologist in private practice, and I'm sure a very familiar figure to many of us in MMA. Dato, please go ahead.
Thank you, Ashok and Alan. My esteemed colleagues, I am Lieutenant Colonel retired Dato Dr. Mohan Singh. I am contesting for the post of President-elect. My candidacy for MMA presidency will enable me to share 45 years of experience. In the past, I have solved the issues of X-ray license for the GPs. I successfully derailed the MSPH plan to further regulate the GPs. You may refer this to my article in Brita MMA, October 2009. I initiated the MMA MOH FOMIMA CME sessions in April 2010. Initiated the digital transmission program for reporting X-rays in 2012. Going forward, I believe in continuity, and my duties to MMA will start as soon as I'm elected the president-elect. I will lend full support to the incoming president and ensure my contribution is well in all the 3 years I'm in the council. As a president-elect, I will study the previous programs and strengthen what is relevant. During my term as a president, my focus will be to strengthen the association membership. I will set a target for membership recruitment at all levels. Expect an increase of at least 20%. Members benefit. I will have a special committee to look at the areas of increasing benefit for members. I'll propose to establish a wellness medical program in collaboration with a private sector healthcare provider at a very special rate to assist members to avail the benefits. Dear members, our founding leaders had the foresight to put up the MMA house 5 decades ago. It has served us well. We need a new MMA house that will last us for the next 50 years or more. I have a vision and I will share that with the incoming council if I am there. Dear friends, I leave it to you. With my vast experience and know-how, I think I will be able to carry MMA to greater heights. We'll work together to cultivate respect, recognition, and repute. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dato. Next in line is Dr. Thanasegaran, who is currently in government service and who has just joined us and will now be presenting his vision and mission for MMA if he becomes the president-elect. Thana, please.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. I am Dr. Thanasegaran Shanmugam. I am a public health physician trained in field epidemiology. I'm with the Ministry of Health the last 28 years. My early association with MMA is via medical camps. I've done numerous medical camps with MMA. I've done it in Sabah, in Sarawak, Bakun, Perak, in Tapa, in Teluk Intan, Ipoh, as well as in Pahang, in Jengka, and in Malaya. But when I was posted in Institute of Medical Research in 2007, I was closely associated with MMA. I became the state SCOMOS, and during that time we had 2 leaders, ST Nathan and Azari. I worked with them to get 3 important items for SCOMOS. One was in 2010, we created a name listing of nearly about 500 people, and we submitted that name to Farida Ali, Dr. Farida Ali, who was the KSU. And that year, we got about 472 JUSA C. And later, we engaged the DG to give us a slot in the Houseman, which is known now as Minda Transformation, our slot to introduce MMA to the young housemen. And we also come up with the flexi hours, which was implemented in Temelloh Hospital. Later, when I became the Honorary General Secretary, as well as the deputy chairman and chairman for the Wilayah branch. I have worked with the council for nearly 4 years. I've understood the economic and the social functioning of the MMA. And I've worked, the first project I worked with the council was my AGM, the 58 AGM, which was the first convention type of AGM where we had a lot of teaching sessions. And with two great advisors like Dr. Mogan Das and Dr. Kuldeep, we have made that event benchmarking MMA Malacca. We crossed our net profit to about 250K, and we had a revenue of 740K. And all this we done through high level of professionalism, teamwork, and a little of outsourcing. And that event is credible to all the members of the MMA Wilayah. And MMA Wilayah always been my learning curve for the last 14 years, ever since I'm actively involved. And I believe I can do better if I am in the position of the president-elect. And I came up with the 5 important missions to help our young doctors. I like to engage with the director of the service department to give an extension of 2+1 so that these young doctors can mature into GP pathway or university pathway. And also I like to mentee the juniors with the senior MMA so that they can be an excellent healthcare provider. I also like to look into the regulation, which is very harsh towards medical professionals. Learning from COVID-19 amendments, I think we could amend the clause and subclause to make it very friendly to the medical professional. I also like to look after the DU 56 for the senior MOs who was left out in the exercise. And one of the reasons that they given to us was they are not specialized in any field. But I like to remember members that these senior members were set in for us for the 4 years plus the 3 years subspecialization when we are doing our training. So I think we should let them into the UD 56. I also like to decongest the MOH by allowing some of these MOH patients in the health clinic as well as the specialist clinic to be transferred to the private sector with a proposal of after office hours consultancy. And in Wilayah, we have done this. During my term as a chairman of the Wilayah, we have proposed $80 per hour for the One Malaysia clinic. And I think we can use a similar pattern to engage with the top managers of the MOH so that we can get our young doctors or the specialists who need to have some sort of collaboration between the MOH and the private sector and also with the government sector. I think we could help each other in this term from the private sector as well as the MOH. My experience in MOH is about 28 years, and with the MMA Wilayah, I have about 14 years. Together, I think I could manage to convince the top managers of the MOH. Many things in the MMA are at the end point. I think you need someone to ink or implement the various things that is at the top managers of the MOH. If we are given a chance, I would produce an excellent CEO or excellent chief executive or operative officers to get all this thing done.
Thank you very much, Tana.
Thank you
very much. And last but definitely not least, Dr. Tharmalingam, who is a physician in Sinakthani Hospital. Please, Tharma, introduce yourself.
Yeah, good evening to everyone, members and my colleagues. I'm Dr. Dharma. I'm consultant physician at Sultan Ali. I am also was active in MMA from 2001, and I was a chairman for 2011 and 2012 in Kedah branch, where the problematic AGM starts, where there are a lot of issues going on, the deregistration. I helped them, MMA, to successfully complete our AGM in Kedah in 2012. Then I was active in education committee for past 2-3 years, from 2013 to 2015. Then I was moved to election committee in 2019. Okay, then I'm actively educating the young doctors. So I'm also Royal College of Physicians UK examiner for past 7 years, and more than 10 years I'm engaged myself as a Royal College RCPI examiner and trainers. In that, I've trained most of the exam going candidates, and I served MOH in various ways to educate in the postgraduate institution. So I will be focusing, while mixing with the young generation doctors, there are huge problems. If you ask me to be a president this time, I thought twice to be a candidate, because what problem lies in the KKM? There are huge number of soft power, about 20,000 to 30,000 young fellows who employ contract basis. Then there are more than 30,000 waiting for employed as a permanent job. So my focus will be, after knowing this, to get a permanent job for them in KKM. Therefore, my focus will be aggressive a bit to sort it out how these people can be educated and can be increased. So past 5 to 10 years, if you know, the number of expansion of the young doctors for the permanent post, Jawatan Tetap, is not well done. So this happening is that when they finish the 2 years contract, there are a lot of floaters in the service, and there are problems employing them. All the posts are occupied, and we need 5,000 posts and over 1,500 posters and 500. So how? This is a soft power. Now these people, about 4 years, are waiting to be posted, and they are young generation. They are not well equipped. You cannot export them to other countries in Middle East because they are still undergraduate. So we have immense security when too many fellows will be unemployed in 4 years and 5 years, because government cannot take this money. So this address is a pertinent issue I will be addressing as a ongoing, if elected as a president-elect. So how to train them? The train them is how to make MMA institutionalized. Therefore, we as an association, of course, we dealing with all the problems, doctors, international, but we must upgrade ourselves as an institution by assisting with the Royal College of Physicians, train and make MMA relevant. This is going to be a second job for me. And therefore, these MMAs, young doctors, cannot ask you why I don't know about MMA, what MMA done, all this. So by employing them from the medical student, by training them, we have a manpower to make MMA young. Therefore, 25,000 people, 25,000 young doctors, more than the numbers are waiting there. So this will transform MMA. Therefore, if you ask me, this will transform MMA, upgrade MMA as a postgraduate institution and helping. And if you ask me, I'm not talking only for government doctors. You must understand. I'm actually helping 4,000 families of MMA members whose their sons and the daughters in this category. One category is a final year students, or second category will be in first year, second year of HO, and another one will be in contract and cannot wait to be posted where. So actually, if you think of it, 12,000 member, more than 12,000, out of the, if you take 5,000 families are there, in that one family member must be in this, should be in this category, and I have good statistic about it. So actually, I'm helping all the if you elect me as a president or president-elect, I will help. I'm addressing your family, your son, your daughter's problem. So that number 3, employment. So MOH cannot educate and employ everybody. So we need to educate. Are they employable first? So that is another job MMA have to take care as a postgraduate institution. As a RCPI, I am a representative for the RCPI Royal College, a physician of Ireland, so far as acting. So with that, I will organize MMA with the joint venture with the Royal College of Physicians to train these people. So the other issues pertaining decongestion of the, as I know, the government service. Therefore, I will talk to the hierarchies how to decongest, how we can get a one care. Therefore, in the government service doctors who are overworked, how we can outsource the outpatient to the private sector. This will be another thing that I will be. So I won't be talking too many ambition-wise. This will be my focus for past another 1 or 2 years if I was elected as a president-elect.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Right. So now we are open for questions from those viewing this video on Dobbs Facebook group or in the MMA Doctors Facebook group. So while someone has said that.
There's a comment. Yeah, nice comment. Just want to remind, because we can't be in the studio here, can't see who is posting unless we actually get into Facebook. There's actually a link down in the description for each of the Facebook broadcasts to allow StreamYard to see your name. So you click on the link to go to StreamYard, facebook.com/StreamYard, and then allow your name, and then we can see your name in the stream. Otherwise, you just appear as Facebook user when I push your comment out into our stream. Yeah. So Facebook user suggests to do it again for SCOMOS and PPS AGM.
Well, the SCOMOS and PPS AGM will be, of course, a virtual AGM. But because of the way the SCOMOS and PPS have their elections, the nominations are done from the floor. So there's no pre-nomination. Then we don't know the candidates beforehand. And so we can't have this sort of event for SCOMOS and PPS. Right. Are there any questions so far?
There's already one.
Dr. Dharma.
There's one for Dr. Tamalingam.
Dr.
I can see that.
Could you elaborate how exactly you're going to attract young doctors to become active MMA members?
Yes,
What can they expect?
Yes, thank you for asking that question. I'm already doing it. I'm already going to all the finalist students in the medical colleges, addressing them, and then training them to membership and first part Royal College of Physicians, and trying to equip and make them sense of what is a parallel pathway, what they're going to be in the future. Therefore, all this, wherever we go to young doctors, they always ask, what MMA has done for me. So I'm in the government sector. I know that so many young doctors are left behind to membership. So I will train them. I'll make them relevant, that part of the MMA is training you in your career activities. Therefore, basically, the young doctors will be relevant, and they find it relevant, they automatically will become a member. No need to ask, run the membership problem. Membership program for them. So this is a way you educate them, institutionalize MMA, and make MMA relevant. Therefore, automatically, this group, which is 25 to 30,000, more than the MMA member waiting there to be whether MMA relevant or not to be a member. So this will be by training, and also I like to collaborate already. I already spoken to Royal College of Physicians to collaborate with MMA. So all this, when you are employable, even if you're undergraduate level, but you're not employable, you cannot be exported anywhere. You need to have a membership to be Middle East go. So the future is the many doctors will be unemployable. This will be addressed accordingly. So So that will be in turning MMA as a part of, not collaborative training center. It's a training center for the doctors. That's my thank you.
Okay. We actually have a related question from Dr. Arvind, which is how to increase student membership in MMA as president-elect. Can I ask Dr. Mohan to take that?
Any suggestion to increase student membership in MMA? Well, we'll have to get back to the institutions wherever the students are, and we'll have to engage with them, right, especially in their final years, so that they know what MMA is and what is the line of action MMA will take for them. So this will come as you are elected, you have to move around and you have to meet them. In short, you must be approachable, which I am. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, there's another question on the MMA Doctors Facebook from our honorary.
Oh, there's
Okay,
one more.
this one from Dobbs. So
That's
who has
from Dr. Harris, first generation contract MO. With regard to contract MO-ship, do you think what has been done by MMA now is sufficient?
Casey?
Okay. Well, I would say that this question is actually irrelevant in the sense that our friend is asking what has been done by MMA till now. Is it sufficient? Of course, it's not sufficient, and it's ongoing. So it's never sufficient because there's so many issues to look at. And the contract MO-ship, we know that it came about due to the increase in medical graduates, and the government just couldn't absorb them. And there were a lot of issues, and we worked on this for many, many years. And we worked on this for ever since, I think, the past 3 ministers of health. And yes, we are looking into how to at least get our doctors who are interested in how to say to advance their career to become a specialist. They would need to have an increase in their contract period. Otherwise, they would not be able to go forward. So as far as contract MO-ship is concerned, there are already discussions ongoing with the Minister of Health via SCOMOS, and there are good things coming up from there, which we will be announcing, I think, sometime a bit towards the end of the year. Because right now, you see today, they have announced that they're going to increase the number of slots for housemanship. Of course, increasing housemanship is nothing to do with contracts, but we are looking at how to increase the number of years for the contract MO, so that for those who wish to further their career by going this by specializing, they would be able to look at least 5 to 7 years of contract. But all these things have already been discussed with MOH, and everything is ongoing. So back to your question, do you think what has been done by MMA till now is sufficient? No, it's not sufficient, which is why we are still continuing on, and you need to have the leaders in MMA who are able to continue on the discussion and the relationship with MMA, the MOH, so that we can further look into this issue.
Any other things from our candidates?
Can I address that? The answer is we are going on the wrong pathway. There should with a temporary pathway. They extend your MO and educate them and become a postgraduate. But eventually, they are contract doctors. If you ask me, if you ask yourself and ask everybody, which government hires officers after training of 2 years employed contract in other ministry? Can you tell them? Which ministry? Teachers are employed after 2 years, after 3 years as a professional? No. Jawatan tetap. That is the answer. So the expansion should take in the Jawatan tetap. I have spoken to the highest authority of the KKM. They are no ministry employ highest officers, professionals after training of 2 years as a temporary doctors. This is the pertinent problem. Therefore, there is no extension of the contract. If it is a temporary measure, we need a permanent measure. Therefore, it's be Jawatan tetap with the EPF. So we are very essential profession. Of course, you cannot employ everybody as pension. But this is how we should go to. MOH is just a manager for me. Big problem with the managers. We must go higher than the MOH. Because if they give the jabatan to MOH, then only they can post. Therefore, we must go higher than that. This is how we should handle this one. Of course, the country cannot, you can say, cannot employ too many. But yes, whose moral responsibility is that? Too many doctors? It is a public? No. It's a parents? No. It's a government that allow. So they have moral responsibility. Moreover, now we are putting a pandemic. This is the right time to approach the higher authority. There are 5,000 MOs, 7,000 are graduated every year. And how many are, how many percentage employed permanently? 5% of that. So this is a problem we should handle. So this is a permanent post must increase. Therefore, we need 5,000 a year, 1,000 specialists, and JUSA post another 500. So this can be done, but the extra people, as you're familiar, need to be exported in the Middle East, all that. But how they equip with the postgraduate education, you cannot educate them. Educate them in the local one. They should be Royal College also, where they can be employed with Singapore. This is how we should help them. MMA. So MMA is doing their best, but more can be done. Thank you.
Do you think we should move on to other comments? Quite a few waiting. Or Ashok, this is quite a big issue amongst our young MOs. When we had the contract session, the morale is very poor. They worry about their future, their opportunities to train, all that. Very limited, jeopardized just because of the 2-year contract. I think our SCOMOS chairman has said they're pushing for 4 years, so at least there's opportunity to train and so on. But I wonder if any of the other president-elects would.
Can I present my view? I think. Can I?
Sure, please.
I just wanted. I think generally is the policy. We have, as a whole, the government has penjawat awam, the government servant, have reached the maximum. So they have put a caption that we can't get a new posting to any of the, even you want to ask extra MOs, we can't ask for extra MOs because the general cap is there. I think the general cap must be removed. That means we can create more posts. We can't create more posts in MOH because the general policy is there. That policy must be removed. Second, we must look at the disease burden in various places, and I think we need to look at the disease burden. We can't simply use doctor ratio. That doctor-patient ratio is something is generalized. If you look at rural area, urban area, Sabah, Sarawak, there is a lot of, at the implementation stages at the clinic, we have a lot of issues of manpower. That all has to look into microscopically, and look at the 3 M's of each of that at the 0 level, and then only you can come up with an important increase in manpower. I think this has to be done properly. I think we can't simply say we have enough people because of a ratio. Patient ratio is enough. If you look at the disease burden, like say COVID-19, we can estimate we need about 4,000 doctors, various places. I think these 4,000 doctors, when we request at the MOH, they gave 1,000 for the doctors. The rest are other allied things. So we only can get in 1,000 inside. So the thing is, if you give someone a contract, it's easier to give contract because you pay them under 27 series. If you are a permanent job, then you have to look for the pension and the other things. So I think this is why I think we need to negotiate, not at the MOH level, but we have to negotiate with the Jabatan Perkhidmatan Awam to get the thing sorted out, because the minister itself capped the entire process to a certain amount. We also has intake of juniors have been stopped because I think we also has extended ourselves. Those who are supposed to retire at 55, like me, are been extended up to 60 years. So unless we give away, the senior give away this post, I think junior cannot enter the system because the system is saturated. So I think we need to address all these issues unless we shorten our retirement age so that we can be employed somewhere else because we are matured enough that we can be employed outside. Otherwise, there is no way the junior person could come into the system because the entire system is saturated. The only way they can find now, contract, and that also a limited contract. I think we need to address the employment issue as a whole from the Prime Minister Department, from the JPJ, then only the entire contract issue will be enlightened. Otherwise, it's quite difficult. Currently, we can only work on extension of contract rather than getting a permanent employment. Even though we say COVID-19, we need extra people in various centers, it doesn't work out like that. Because
Can I say a final words on this?
A final word.
Sure.
Otherwise,
Yes.
there's a lot of comments coming up and questions waiting.
Because
Yeah.
whatever has been said,
I think we should work with the Jabatan Perkhidmatan Awam lah, and with the policy makers to get it corrected.
Okay, just to share, SCOMO is actually working on all this, and you're right by saying that JPA is the one who is not giving the post. So there are a few bottlenecks here. One would be when the new houseman comes up, they'll be stuck there because there are not enough jawatan for them. That's why the contract post came out. And to get the jawatan tetap will be a big it's difficult because they are sharing out within all the different ministries. So that's why the contract post is very important. And the problem is, after 2 years, what is there for them? They would have to come out, or they would have to get themselves extended further. What we are looking at is trying to get an increase in the contract position so that everyone who completes the housemanship, they have a chance to go forward and specialize. And if not, if they wish to resign, they can resign. So that is what we are looking at, and there are news coming up from that later on once everything is confirmed. Okay, that's all.
Thank you. I think all of you are very, very diplomatic. You don't say that the ministers don't know what's going on in their ministries. You don't say that the civil servants say they have nothing to do with policies. And you don't say that we are trying to fix this bloody problem of flooding without turning off the water at the source. Why are we still producing so many doctors? Right, well, we have to go on to the next question, which is from our HGS. And he'd like to know the stand of the candidates in pushing for voting for office bearers open to all members rather than just delegates as happens now. As you know, previously we used to have postal ballots, but we may now be able to move towards electronic voting, allowing all MMA members on the electoral roll to vote for all the candidates at the National MMA AGM. So what are your views on this? Can I start with Dr. Dharma, please?
Yeah. You see, you must understand, of course, but democratically as a biggest stand, like a president of USA, all that, everybody has right to vote, but delegates votes for the president. So why the delegate system should remain? Because those who are active in the power, active for taking care, is given the first opportunity. Of course, we address all the problems of the GPs or private practice, but delegates who are keen to come at least to the local branch, given the first priority. So for that, they takes first priority. I agree it should be delegate system, but ideally it should be verified in the different way, like with the IT, all that we are already expanded now. So for me, the delegate system is better because it's not that blindly everybody votes on the namesake, So that is the one we need. The delegate knows. The delegates go to the local branch, who's active, who's doing the work, what. So that kind of things we need to MMA. Don't know the problem. So I will always support delegate, but we can verify accordingly. We can make it improve where the more participation, more representation is there. So that's my concern. My fear is that you should not vote for the basic, like MMC election. You understand what's happening in MMC? So it should not be that way. Thank you.
Mohan, what's your view on this?
I think the delegate system should remain, must remain, because if we are going to move away from this, I'm sad to say the minor states may just be clobbered by Selangor, Wilayah, Perak, maybe Penang. And we'll have nobody coming to even breathe near us. Our numbers on this side are very, very strong. Whilst the delegates should remain and must remain, but we can modify it to a certain extent of their participations, their interest they have shown at the branch levels, and then they be judged from that. No use of having a chap just jumping onto the bandwagon and joining, coming down to MMA house to rule the day when he knows nothing about it. I'm very firm about it. I think this system should remain.
Casey, please.
Well,
What's your view on it?
I have been through all this for so many years. Initially, we used to have postal ballot, which was open to the whole country, right? And those days, postal balloting, where mentioned by Dr. Tarma with our MMC now, it's all postal ballot, so there are a lot of issues there. And why it was changed to voting from the floor is that they felt that security-wise it was not good, and they wanted to have ballot from the floor, whereby people who come to vote, we are sure that the people who are voting are the actual person who has cast their vote, and it was to increase the participation in our AGMs, because we did not have that many people coming in. And then, of course, the reasoning there was also that people who attend the AGM, they know the candidates, they know them well, so they will know who to choose for. Well, there's been a debate on this, because we have got people who were voted in even without, when the delegates do not really know them. But anyway, coming back to the question, what is the stand of candidates? I think the comment about blind voting, where people vote blindly, and then about people being clobbered by the small states being clobbered by bigger states. No, just have a look at today's registrants for this AGM. It's about 1,500. We have never had such numbers before. And Dr. Tarma mentioned about democracy. So, and with this, in this current era, today, all 1,005 who have registered, are they going to vote blindly when they are looking at us now, speaking to them, telling them our thoughts, answering their questions? This is the chance for them to know us. And this is a chance when we open up the whole nation, they will understand who we are. And this is what we talk about meritocracy. They will understand the candidates better, and they will know what they have done and who to vote for. So I think it's not about blind voting and be clobbered by other states. However, of course, once we move back to physical AGMs, I don't think we'll be fully physical. We will, because it's the era of the IT and the AI coming in, I'm sure we will be moving forward. I hope that answers the question.
One final comment, if you may. You see, our democratic system is delegate system or republic system. Still is a delegate. Prime Minister is voted by all the MPs. You must understand
Can I
that.
stop you, please?
You see,
Dr.
you
Tana.
employ somebody or you represent people. Vote for Prime Minister.
Can I ask Dr.
USA,
Tana to?
Hello.
you.
Yeah. I think, as Casey has said, we have really gone through. Initially, we had ballot papers. We have gone to the floor, and it depends on what system that you like to introduce in MMA. Whether it's a broader, everything got pro and cons. So it's for us, members sit in and decide what type of democratic way of electing president should be there. If you open to everyone, we say we will be very democratic. If you open only for the delegates, those who don't are not able to vote. So there are pros and cons on it. As long as a system is there, how you want to select somebody, it's fair enough. There are different systems. This is one of the systems. I think we have gone through that entire ballot paper. Now we are in the terms of what you call on the floor, and now we are in a virtual voting. So virtual voting will have a broader people coming in and selecting the president-elect. I don't see it is a system only. It can be any way. I would favor all the members to vote in an open, democratic. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. I just point out, okay, see, you may have 1,500 people registered for the coming AGM, but because we still follow the delegate system, less than 1,200 of them will be able to vote. So the 300 plus will be observing.
Right,
Okay,
you are right.
we have another question. Okay, this is from Dobbs. It says that every year we make good progress in recruitment, but the fact is MMA has current recruitment rate less than 1 to 2% of new doctors graduated in the last 5 years. Now, I can't be sure of this accuracy of these statistics. So let me ask Casey to continue on with me.
Now, I too do not have the percentage, but from what I know, we have been increasing the number of new members from among the new graduates because we have been going to ground, and SCOMOS have been doing a wonderful job in all the states. Of course, barring the first 6 months of this year because of COVID and all that, they have been going around the states and having their programs, for those who have just graduated, the houseman and all that. But we know that somehow or other, it's not easy to get them in at the point of the time, at the point in their life when they are faced with so much of stress when they are coming into the becoming a houseman and all that. But coming to this 1 to 2%, you must look at. I would look at the total number, the absolute numbers, in the sense that we have got so many doctors coming out now. Every year, the numbers are increasing. Up to now, we have got 5,000 over doctors per year. And of course, when you look at the percentage will keep on going down, or it may remain stagnant. But being stagnant doesn't mean that we do not have more members, because the numbers are actually going up. And I would just end by saying that, yes, we have got more and more new members coming in. Our statistics are there, actually. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to make a comment on that?
Well, my only comment is, if elected, I'll make sure I'm on the ground myself along with the SCOMOS and encourage new membership. And by seeing the president-elect or the president-to-be there among them, I might be able to attract more people.
Can I address this issue?
Dharma?
You see, the problem is we are encouraging them to be members. So what you've provided for the young doctors, 25,000 people are waiting without in a contract system. So they will be asking what you have done for me. That is Kevin has pointed out what we have done to young doctors, to be accountability. Accountability is the most important. So you must do something for them. Then they'll be proud of your MMA as a member. So you must start from the younger in the final year stage itself. As I've done few work in this, I'm actively involved in that. You must go there, educate them, parallel pathway, what you can do, and then don't force them to MMA. Or eventually, because MMA is doing it and the RSPR program, all that, MMA, all that, they're going to be a member because you have done something for them. This is it's called soft power of the MMA. So there's a 25,000, 30,000 waiting there. So how many total MMAs your members? So 30, 15,000, more than the waiting. So you need to do something. What's the pertinent problem? Is the employment rate, education, parallel pathway, their job safety. That's why you need to institutionalize MMA. Go in the right path to make it relevant. That's why I'm doing now. That's why I plan to do.
Okay, just a parting word. We do have a Student Medical Association for MMA, that is MAMS, whereby we have actually located a lot of funds, and we are increasing the funds every year because we need to target them when they're students. And from there, we actually are continuing our effort to bring them into the fold of MMA when they graduate, just to let you know what we have been doing.
Okay, thank you. Right.
I'm sorry,
Um,
ran out of breath.
Yes,
Run out
now.
battery. Okay, welcome back.
Nice.
Yeah. There are quite a lot of comments, Ashok.
Yes.
Maybe some of them are on the same theme about membership and how to improve and all that. So maybe I'll just pick one which is a separate topic.
Yeah. Just,
Especially those who put their name to the comment. If you remain an
Okay.
anonymous Facebook user, I won't pick you.
Right. So we have a question here from Dr. Vijay Kumar, who says that traditionally most elected presidents are only accessible to the privileged few. I'm not sure who those are, but once elected, they hardly make any visits to grassroots members at large. And how do you plan to change this? I'll start with Dr. Mohan, please.
Well, I totally disagree with this comment. As far as I'm concerned, I'm most easily approachable, available anytime, anywhere. And actually, I've gone around the whole country giving lectures, many times with the FOMIMA setups. And I met a lot of my grassroots friends. Today, if I'm standing for election, it is because of the blessing of my grassroots support. I could not get any list from MMA. I could not get anything. But these are grassroots supporters of mine who have encouraged me. So to me, this statement is not relevant at all. I'm easily available anywhere, anytime. Just invite me over and let me know when. Thank you.
Thank you. Casey?
Can I comment? Casey, carry
Just
on.
a second.
Okay, Tama, you go first.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, come back to this question. Actually, they're asking, the question says that is president-elect or president go to the grassroots level, meeting the people or not? If you elect me as a president-elect, I will go twice a year in every state, not to make functions, make a what you call integration. Part of that, I'll make them twice a year. It's my KPI. You should go to the grassroots, find out their problems as a president-elect. President will be it's a symbolic way to attend all the meetings. The president-elect must go.
I think he's frozen.
Yeah.
So since he's frozen, I think we'll go back to you, Casey.
Okay.
My the gravel and then the function without.
Can you mute him, Alan?
Yeah,
doing
I think I'll.
Okay, I got a plan. This is the way you should go to the grassroots, just so the youngsters will know you, what you've done. Maybe they're going to be your members with them. This is how you should go the future. Future must go accessible to them.
Thank you. Thank you. Casey, please.
Okay, right. The traditionally most elected presidents, what I would say traditionally, those days, in the days of yore when, handphones were not available, maybe it's not that easy for the presidents to travel around those days. But now, from the past few years where I've been actively involved in MMA, yes, the presidents as well as office bearers do go around the country visiting every branch at their dinners, at the talks and all that. Of course, that is not enough. But they have already also arranged or meet the president's sessions whereby they fix the time when they travel the country. I myself, even though I was not president, I had to go over to Sabah, Sarawak and meet the people. There was the meet the president's session whereby all office bearers will be there. But the thing is, not many people are able to come and converge at one point to meet the president and all that. So it is two ways. One, whether we made the effort from the office bearers, and one, whether the grassroots members have made the effort to come over and meet them, because there's no way that the president can go to each and every small town and each and every clinic to meet them. However, like I said, in this era, it is very different. MMA, we have got our MMA Facebook now, which is accessible to many, and of course, Alan, which is DOPS, but let's talk about MMA Facebook. We have got so many of our members on MMA Facebook now, and I know that the presidents and office bearers have been communicating with them on MMA Facebook and our MMA apps. MMA apps is already evolving to an apps whereby it's going to encourage communication between members, and there'll be a lot of inbuilt ways for communication between members in the far reaches of the country and those who are around us. But of course, physical presence of the president should always be there. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Can we move on to another question, Alan?
Yep.
It's a very important question. How
Yes.
is MMA going to show, transparency of selection of this 5% of MOs who are given permanent posts? I know that since my term, since every other president since then, we have been banging on about how are these doctors selected and nobody tells us. So, Dharma, please.
Yeah. Let me address. I was in the beside the person who made the contract HOs. That was later Jayendran. We are talking to you. I was against it. There will be a lot of disparities selecting. One of it is that when you employ doctors, those who are doctors will be selected from whether they are scholarship doctors. So it is very difficult. I understand your problem. It's very difficult. This kind of disparity will there. And 5%, 5%. I talked to the highest officers yesterday. After the 5,000 posts needed, only 5% are posted. So there are definitely going to be a lot of unsatisfactory issues going on. So only way is a big full of bus. So many people are.
Let's close it again.
If you let them happen, there will be a lot of unemployed doctors walking around in the thing. So this is how only way to make it permanent doctors: expand your posts, or make them adequately employable by putting the postgraduate institution. That's why MMA must come in. So I agree with you. This problem I cannot solve. Be very, very frank with you. There are 30, 40, but eventually the success is taking a first step, not completing it. First step, and start moving in the right direction. Talk to the right people, make it happen, and especially pandemic, where the frontliners are doctors. Of course, PM will listen to you, and all these problems will be solved. You must go above the MOH. MOH is a manager. They have their own problem. You must go to the Jabatan, Prime Minister Department, and employ the National Economic Council. What is the moral responsibility of the government? With that, you should go. Thank you.
Dato, do you have anything to say about this?
Well, I think right now we can, of course, find alternative pathways of making these people more learned, train them up in specialized fields, and we can make use of institutions of higher learning down here itself. Something like Masa College. We can ask Tansri Hanifa also to help us. They can bring the diploma courses, foreign diploma courses down here, whereby these people will be deemed to have been specialized in a subject of their choice. And even if they go out in private practice, they'll be quite useful. They won't be just starting from the bottom. They would have been trained sufficiently, and they would have been given a certificate of recognition within our country at least.
Thank you. Casey, your views?
I think what Dato is talking about is having a GP who is has got special interests, who are trained in all this. But the thing is that your comment about why is nobody talking about the minister who doesn't know what is, well, I would stay away from that. But we know very well that talking to the minister and talking to DG sometimes, like that Dr. Tama says, they have got their issues, so sometimes it's not easy to penetrate into them. But I know because we have heard from the horse's mouth that only the cream, the best, will be absorbed in the Ministry of Health. And when we ask, what about the rest? Well, the rest can be put out in the pasture and to the field to do whatever they want. Then we are worried about what's going to happen to the field of primary care in Malaysia. You cannot be doing that. So, but whatever it is, we need to, number one, increase number of permanent posts. And whilst that is ongoing, which will take quite some time, we have to increase the the years of contract for the doctors who wish to specialize. And like I said, those who wish to come out, they can opt out during the contract year, but we need to have at least 7 years of contract, because they will need to do their masters, and they will need to be gazetted, because without all that, there's no point having them doing a master's program and just coming out. They can't even get themselves registered on the NSR.
Thank you.
you need to have a fast sight. We got a lot of problems there. But not only we're depending on government employment, we should educate. And when they employable, what do you mean employable? They must go out of the country. So when they are going out of the country, undergraduate is not enough. There should be a good, traditionally, a Royal College or international recognized recognition. That's what you have to do. Anyway. So it's a big bus. So many fellas are there, cannot sit. You cannot throw under the wheel. You must make them jump and go else and survive. This is what we should do, not only for members, for all doctors, youngsters. It's a bigger problem. So we need to address all these issues. Thank you.
Dr. Karma, if I may, you're talking about getting our doctors to set their sights overseas. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, that's only thing we can do, because the number are too many.
No, it depends on how we
but
use
they
the
should be employable. Once they're employable, what do you mean by employable? There must be some postgraduate institution. They can even serve anywhere in the world if they have a recognized postgraduate institution. This is a far sight I'm talking about. Not, of course, I want all the Malaysians serve for Malaysian government, but the reality you must understand. One is, of course, we should serve a better, and the number which can be taken by the government also limited, and the number needed also need to be considered. The rest, what they're going to do, you must prepare them serve any part of the world. This
Thank
is
you.
how
I think the next question. Okay, so we have a question from Dr. Sanjeev, who's talking about how some countries have initiated a movement to appeal to the government to increase the pay of frontliners. And can the new president-elect please take up this topic and see what other members feel? So this one, Tana, since we're away for a while, maybe you'd like to put this one up?
I think the way they define these allowances that they're giving at the rate of RM1 per day is not sufficient. I think we need to work with the government. I think this is the lowest pay that I have seen so far. If you calculate, they give 300 per month for 14 days work. I think it's extremely low. And it shouldn't be a payment for a medical professional. They should pay a little more. And there's a risk involved in the frontliner. Although we are wearing the 3 layers and so forth, I think we need to get across the minister as well the other people in the government. They need to look at increasing the payment of the frontliners. And most of them are junior who are direct contact with these people. And I think a lot of contract that they take 1,000 people are from a junior contract was standard, but unfortunately they were stopped after this January 10th. And now they are re-employing some of them back. But I think the amount that is given to them is not sufficient. I think we need to really work with the government. Actually, the government decides how much quantum that is supposed to pay. And it's a sad thing. I think we need to work more on this. That's all from my side.
Okay, thank you. Dharma, what do you think about this? Should the new president-elect talk about pay rise for doctors alone? Dharma?
They got a system to do it in KKM, I think they're running the system, and there are ups and downs already. But they have to define definition of the frontliners varies, whether it's a specialist, all that. So they have a system to do it. I think what system going on should be improved. That's all. Other than that, we cannot follow what you call, of course, the France, as you said, UK, all that. They got a bigger problem. We are under control. So we have our own system and budget and everything. So we are addressing accordingly, because I'm part of it, part of the medicine. So we have a system, the MOH have a system, how to define frontliner, how to pay, who should be, who should not be. Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
So we move on, Ashok.
Can I just mention a bit on this?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's true, frontliners, you're talking about the specialists and the junior doctors. I think this question may be about the junior doctors, and I think we should not be looking just at pay rise, because I know that a lot of these junior doctors were actually those who are on
Among the
contract.
doctors also, those who IDs side, all these, they are also frontliners. So they have definition for that. They have a system to take care. So how
Yeah,
to
but I'm
address
just addressing this question here. So I think a lot of these junior frontliners, they were facing the contract issue, with which some of them were already sort of like, towards the end of contract issue, and they were undergoing a lot of stress. We had a lot of communication from them during that time. Okay, that's all. Thanks.
Ashok, just one point.
Dato'.
He has appealed to the government to increase the pay of frontliners. Our definition of frontliners is pretty vague right now. To me, being an ex-army man, to be a frontliner is a soldier, is a junior doctor, not a specialist who's sitting far behind them and then claims a better bulk of it. I will rather take it up to the core of the figure, get to Putrajaya, and see how the definition taking place. Frontliners are those people, soldiers right in front. They are the ones who are facing the bulk of it. And not, there should be no such thing as by a graph they pay something, so much is allotted. We must look how the allotment is taking place. I would rather look into that.
Thank you. Yeah, we can move along, Alan. Right. There's a question. 1 year enough for a president to realize his vision, or should it be increased to 2 years? Okay. I think almost 2 years before.
It's a good question. So,
I'll
whom you want me to address? I mean, you see,
okay.
you are talking about
No.
presidency.
The
You are
question-
3 years in the power.
Can you hold on, please? Hold on,
Okay.
Dharma. I asked Dr. Mohan to give his views.
Sorry,
Simple.
because the hearing was.
All know, and Ashok, from your own experience, you know well, 1 year is not enough. Yes, agree to that. Now we'll have to plan it out properly. President-elect should start working day one he takes over as a president-elect and complement the president and keep, so that by the time he actually takes the reign as a president, he's halfway through. I will not challenge the members to say the presidency should be increased to 2 years, or even for that matter to 4 years, and no one. That's a member's decision. But if elected, I'll prepare myself to start working from day one and make sure that I complete my circuit in 2 years. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I ask Tana to go next, please? In case he gets cut off.
Yeah, I think 1 year is a short term. Actually, to do any project, we need at least 3 years, actually. But as a president-elect, but you'll go into a president and then past president, counting that 3 years as one phase. I think 1 year, because we have a lot of people coming in for president-elect and presidency, I think 1 year is to give everyone a chance. I think 1 year is enough, but you have the whole 3 years to work. Even after that, we can still work on for the MMA. Many of you are doing that, I think. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Dharma?
Yeah, as he said, it's 3 years actually. You are president for 1 year, and you help out and get the system, and you're president. As Dr. Ashok knows, during your past president-elect you have done a lot of work, So you are together with us this time. So this is, as you said, Rolling Stone got no Moses. I mean, you cannot go Moses. Well, we have a system to do it. 3 years actually you're active. And if you plan well and work together with a team, a good team, and the tenor is not important. It's important is what you left behind, what is follow up, what after you left behind, are you following it up and make it happen? That's important. Thank you.
Thank you. Tracy?
Right. Well, traditionally, the 3 years was meant to be for president-elect to learn the ropes, assuming that the president need to come in fresh to see what is going on, and then after that he assumes presidency post, and after which he will remain as so-called advisor to open his mouth and ask to, right? But looking at a system whereby a person who is going on to a president-elect post, if that person has already gone through all the various positions and learned the ropes, he can always, the moment he becomes a president-elect, he knows what is there to be done. And issues with MMA is always ongoing. It's never about one president doing all the work and completing it at the end of his tenure. It's about an ongoing process whereby, you come in and take over somebody else's baby, and you may pass on your baby to somebody else. So if you come in and start working as a president-elect on issues, you will have time to go through a presidency, and finally on to immediate past, where we look at other ways where you can contribute back to the association.
Thank you. So let's proceed to the next question. Right. Now this is about TPAs. In private practice, GPs, about 60 to 70% of patients are under TPA. They're not regulated, and they impose a lot of conditions that are not favorable to doctors. So what's your plan on this? Let me start with Dr. Mohan.
Am I me?
Yes.
Well, that has been my favorite topic when I used to canvass during the branch AGMs. There is need for TPAs to be regulated. They will have to respect that it is the doctor's right to treat, investigate, and give medication to their patients without any limitations or control. They should do the proper audit and inform the doctor should there not be in order. But just to strictly regulate them by one yardstick is not on. Then that should not happen. I'm all for it. While TPAs are doing a job, certain TPAs are actually doing a very good job. But there is need that we have to regulate them and come to terms with them also. So if elected, I will definitely proceed this, which I did once upon a time as a PPS chairman also.
Thank you, Dato. Tracy, as a GP, what's your view?
Right. Okay. Now, this issue has been ongoing for a long time. And we know that under Act 486, TPS cannot be regulated. 2 or 3 ministers back, this was taken up, and they got AG to look into it, and they found that there's no easy way to regulate these TPAs. But however, MMA has been working on this for the past 2-3 years, and we are looking at regulating these TPAs. Work's ongoing. But before we can talk about regulating, work's ongoing on that anyway. But before that, we had a lot of meetings with them over the past 2 or 3 years, and we were looking at a common contractual agreement, because in the absence of controlling how the TPAs can function, we came up with a common contractual agreement. However, this agreement touches on the fee schedule, and we know very well that the previous government had mentioned about the deregulation of the fee schedule, which is yet to be passed in Parliament, and that is what has put temporary hold onto our common contractual agreement. And if this goes through, at least we have got something on. And like I said, we are already working on regulations for them as well.
Dharma, please. What's your views on this TPAs?
Well, as Casey pointed out, it's not regulated as starting the TPA. There was a problem when changing. Some people don't support, some people support. That regulatory problem. So what, as Casey pointed out, we need to talk to how it can be implemented. But being in the government side, I understand I'm not much aware of this problem, but I will address with my friends who know better about it and positions. I like to learn about it in another way.
Thank you. Thank you. Tana, point?
I think that TPA, third party thing, I think it is under different, it's not under the Ministry of Health. It is in different pathway. I think it's in the business entity. So to regulate via KKM, it will be difficult. I think if the fee schedule was implemented, then I think the TPA would have worked, because everyone follows the clause of the regulation, rather than if your fee schedule worked out with the Minister of Health last year, I think this problem would have solved out. But I think it didn't work out. I think it's more of a business entity itself. I think we need to look at the players in the third party thing, and we need to negotiate with them to get the fee schedule in so that it can be regulated. Regulations are very tough here, because there are business entity who doesn't want the fee schedule. So if the fee schedule is done, I think these people will be listening. Otherwise, I think they won't be listening to anyone, because they are a business entity. That's,
Okay,
I
two
think,
things.
yeah.
Okay, two things
Okay,
to point out. One is fee schedule. We are not talking about, we are talking about deregulation of the fee schedule, which is already being proposed by the previous minister. And then as for the regulation, we are already pushing it via Bermuda. So it is ongoing, like I said.
Thank you. I think we have time for one or two more questions, Alan.
Yeah, I think I'll skip to the easy ones. Maybe those in DOPS who are not members, maybe keen to join, maybe put off by the membership fees.
So yes, I think this one I'll ask our honorary general treasurer what his views are. Casey?
Okay. Well, we are looking at reducing the membership fees for the students for a start, because the students, even you ask them to pay a minimal amount, sometimes they find there is no point paying and all. Anyway, we are reducing that for them. And for the entry of the HOs and junior MOs into MMA, we have got special rates for them as well. I can't just tell you off the cuff about the exact amounts and all that, but we have reduced the rates for them. And there are also easy payment schemes for those who want to go and take up life membership when they are still very junior. We have all that in place, but sad to say, we can't just offer it free for them, because to manage MMA is no joke. You know the amount of work we do for our members. A lot of members do not realize those days they get a physical copy of Berita and say, "Oh, is that what I'm getting for my membership fees?" It's not only that. There are a lot of things which we are giving. And for those who are on the MMA apps, are we collecting money from any of you? No. It's for your convenience. And we spend a lot of money per month, at least 30 to 40,000 ringgit, Alan knows very well, to maintain our system, to give back to the members. And we are not charging them anything. So we should look at what are the things which MMA has been giving to them. And all the officers in MMA is working towards that. We are not talking about getting things back from our members. We are talking about giving to them.
Right. Tana, would you
Yeah.
agree?
This depends. If you want to make more members compared to the other, we have about 12 medical related association. If they are offering free, I think we should offer free. And we need to look other revenues that we're going to get into MMA to solve our income structure, actually. I think we will lose out. There are already more than 12 related association, and whenever you go and talk to anybody, they're going to ask, what is your number of membership? So membership is important, whether you offer it free or with low number of fees. We know we have given 1,250 for the husband, and the spouses are 50% less, but all that not going to work. We need to get the membership to 55,000. We have 55,000 MOs in Malaysia. So I think this you have to work out because it's the expenditure as well as other things to run the association is there, but we will lose out to the other newer association. And you can always make a new association by going to the society registration. Anyone can open a society and make a new society out of the medical field. I think we need to balance both lah.
Okay, sorry. But I beg to be different. We are being very inclusive now. We are talking to all the other associations. Gone are the days when we were fighting with the other associations. We are already working with them, and we find that many of the members of the other association are also our members. And coming to the MMA apps, it's open to non-members as well. And our numbers are growing, which is why our current apps is finding hard to sustain. And we are already revamping the whole MMA apps to be more inclusive, to have more functions. And I can say that a lot of the people on MMA apps are actually non-members. So we are increasing our how to say, not the registered members, but people who believe in MMA. We are increasing the numbers. They are coming in.
Thank you.
Ashok,
Yes, Dato. Can I
I
just ask?
do not agree with the suggestion offering free membership. We should attract members to knock on our doors to join us. I would rather make it look like we actually screen our members, create such benefits for them, give them such better prospects that they all want to join us. And that is what we should actually look forward to. If you look backwards, among all the other organizations, associations, I think MMA has one of the best buildings. We are the best organization. We are actually well organized, and we should continue from there. Our next job is to make sure we create such venues where we attract members. Members who want to join us. We will have to look into that. Thank you.
Thank you.
I agree
Dharma?
with you, Dato. Agree you.
Casey, can we let Dharma say something?
I just made a comment. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, carry on, Casey.
No, I just replying to Dato. That's all.
Okay. So, being free and being a paying member, you must understand, are you commercially oriented or spiritually oriented? Either right. If you think MMA is relevant for you, definitely you will do the necessary. Number two, during the COVID pandemic has taught us many things. Among is reduction in the expenditure. The MMA may come with a better formula if going through that, how to make the live membership more and more easier for payment. So these are the things we can look into it. Of course, we cannot run away from the expenditure. The expenditure now is a traveling expenditure. Major expenditures are reduced by 30 to 20%. So we will come on with a better formula. I mean, I agree with you, but houseman pay is now coming to 4,000 already. So these are the things can look into it, make membership more viable to everybody. These are the things how we look into it. I agree with you. We can't be 0, but we look into between the 0 and 10, we'll come out with the 5. I mean, these are the things we look into, how the expenditure goes, how to reduce it, and what we can give you back. And the MMA is giving back more than what you pay. I mean, by the CPD, if you're a live member, you buy a car, that's a deduction. So these are the things you must take into accountability. And during the membership campaign also, we must explain. It's our fault we are not explaining what you get. You see, that's the thing, you must go to the grassroots level. But don't think commercially, 0 pay and benefit. Nothing is free, but there we can be between 1 and 10. You don't need to pay 10, you can pay 5, and we look into it.
So I think there's room for compromise. Any further questions, Alan?
Yep.
So how is the president-elect going to solve the issue of GP consultation fee, which is a very hot issue as usual? Okay, since this question was asked by your brother, Tana, it's your time to answer.
Mine. I think everyone must come up with the same fee structure, all our members, all our medical professionals. Because the fees has been deregulated now, I think everyone must come up. We say the consultation fees is 25. I think all the members must put in the same consultation fees. There should not be a cutting that somebody offering for 15 ringgit. Everyone across the board must come up with 25 ringgit consultation. Or if we say at Vlaya or certain places we need to put 50, I think we need to standardize that. And every member must follow that, because now we have deregulated the fee schedule. So I think everyone member, I think we must echo it to our member to put a standard. We already have a standard guideline. I think we should follow the standard guidelines.
Well,
that's my answer.
You're very hopeful. Yeah. Dato, what's your view on this?
As a PPS chairman, even those days, I failed. Because there were doctors who are undercutting each other. They will never get regulated. I really do not know how to overcome, if elected, I really don't know how to overcome this cancerous problem. You can talk to your members, but how many out there are non-members of MMA? They will also have to survive. I have known of doctors, consultation fees, 5 ringgit or 2 ringgit for that matter. How are you going to do? I really don't know. I might have to have a tough time, maybe along with the PPI chairman if I'm there, but I do not find an easy solution to this. Let me be honest.
Yeah, thank you. Dharma, can I ask your view?
Yeah. I guess this is a really challenging question for me. You see, our profession is charity profession and everything. So as Dato pointed out, it's difficult to control because you feel this patient cannot pay. It's up to you how much you expect. But you should know, you must understand, when he can afford to pay $5 only, you pay from your pocket and make it $30 for you. Ask him to. That's all. But you can at the same time don't make it 5 ringgit and make him tell other people that I paid $5. It depends on you. You are rich, you can carry on. It's up to you. It is your profession. But only thing is, don't this fellow go and tell he charged only $5. You have to put up 25 on to make it 30 and ask him to pay. That's about it on the bill. It's 30. So it's up to you. It's charity oriented. You feel this people cannot pay. That's why the fees you got difficult to control. You understand, whether MMA member, all that. Our profession is noble profession. So I agree on that. Of course, there are people suffering because they're undercutting. I understand in the business, there's a lot of them. You GPs also must understand this thing. If you want to pay more for him, pay from your pocket and make it $30. Why you want to make 100 and make him go and tell $5? He asked me, but why are you asking him $30? So this depends on individual things, like Dato pointed out, undercutting, all that. So this can be a brotherhood can be solved.
Well, I think what Dato meant but didn't say is that a lot of the undercutting is not when you're giving charity to your poor patient, but when you're trying to get a panel of a TPA. So that's a different matter. So Casey, what's your view?
Yeah.
Well, I think this GP consultation fee is actually more about the TPAs making use of the fee schedule, the 7 fee schedule. They go to the lower limit, which is 15 ringgit, and they put it there so that the doctors can't charge much more than that. And as for doctors who charge 5-10 ringgit, well, what we say is undercutting is a major issue. But the other thing is, if the doctors want to do charity work, nobody can really stop them. So Dato, you are right. This is a never-ending story. It's not easy. But coming back to this one, it's because of the TPS using the fee schedule in the 7 fee schedule for GPs, which is an issue here. And with the deregulation, if it ever goes through, that would be the point where MMA would have to come down strongly and advise the GPs, look here, the fees are deregulated. There's no minimum fee, no maximum fee. And we have to come out strongly. Well, under the Anti-Competition Act, we cannot fix a fee and all that. But we will have to come to the doctors and tell them that you are worth something, your time is worth something. You have to charge a reasonable consultation fee, and that would be something which we're going to look at when the deregulation comes into place.
Thank you. Do we have further questions, Alan?
Yep.
All right, it's a very interesting question. If you lose, how would you still help MMA realize your vision and whatever is in your manifesto to make MMA great? Okay, who would like to take this question first? Because I don't want to ask anyone to imply.
Okay, I can take.
Okay, thank you, Tana.
Actually, my KPIs or manifesto is right. I did a situational analysis. I very put it simple. I think any president-elect, or even if I lose, I think I would carry on with this work since I am with the Ministry of Health for the last 28 years. There's no such thing that if you lose, you're going to forget to help the young doctors, especially those who need of job opportunity. I think the contract with the director of the service must continue. We need to link our young members with the senior members so that they can mature into a healthcare provider, an excellent healthcare provider. And all the other things, I think it can be followed up by everyone and it can be done. No such thing. We are doing in MMA because we have passion. I can run for presidency every year. I don't mind. I think it's good that we have a competition, and it's a healthy competition. And each of the vision is there. I think I've analyzed it properly, and I put 5 ideas. I definitely will continue doing the same thing if I lose. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Mohan, would you like to?
Well, I've continued serving even after stepping out from the council in 2012. I followed the MMA presidents to Putrajaya whenever they required. I even wrote papers and presented it, which even my friend Casey will know it as well. And they were presented right up to EPU. So, as far as I'm concerned, I'm always there. Whenever required, I will help, as long as I can.
Thank you, Dr. Thank you. Casey?
Well, like I said, throughout my journey in MMA, it's not always bed of roses, meaning that I do not win every election where I put my name to. But of course, there's always whatever position which I'm going for, I know what I am supposed to do there and what I wish to do. And it was not all. I mean, I did not get the position which I want all the time. There have been quite a few times where I did not manage to clinch enough of votes to get a position which I want. But I'm still here today. And this is my second attempt for the president-elect. I did not get it. I went forward and got myself elected as the general treasurer so that I can remain within MMA and remain active and know what are the issues there, in the hope that if I do get elected in, at least I can start working immediately and not waste that 1 year of president-elect. And if I were to lose, well, history has shown that I do not stay away. I will still be with MMA.
Thank you. Dharma, what's in
Let
case
me
you
be
lose?
frank and honest with you. There's two different things you need to understand. Being a driver in the bus and a passenger. If you ask me to lead, the direction may be faster or maybe change a little bit. I will gear up everything. And definitely there will be difference, but I'll be part of the team. But if I not let to lead, then the direction and the things will change a bit, but I'll be part of the team. Number 2, I realized that this is the right time to come because I know from Secretary Vasu, Arvin, all that. It's a good team. That's why I plan to come. So the direction may not change, but the speed will definitely change according to the direction what I set in. That's my honest answer on this. But I'll be part of the team and work together with them. We're all friends, nothing much.
Thank you. Thank you. Very good answers. Yes, Alan. All right, so this is perhaps the reverse of that earlier question. All of you give one reason why you should be voted in, and if so, what is the one difference that you will bring into MMA? Dato, please.
Since I have been put on the slaughtering board, where transparency will be the main thing. We'll make sure whatever we are doing, the members are well informed. Through this system now, virtual system, I'll keep them engaged, keep them informed. In fact, this question has bitten me. I would have been, in my winding up, would have said that if I am elected the president, I hope to address the members 6 months and create my own KPI for them to assess me. I, in fact, have my own Zoom license where I would have given them, please talk to me on Zoom and correct me or direct me and let me know which direction to go. I will make sure there's a KPI set for myself first before I can ask the branch chairmans.
Thank you, Dato. Casey?
Well, like I've said, my agenda or manifesto has only one item, and that is to fulfill the agenda of its members as much as possible during my term of office, and also to continue rebranding of MMA, which have been successful thus far, and there's still a long way to go, but that is what I will do.
Thank you. Dharma?
Actually, this I had to address in a different way. So, what is the first thing to transform time to relevant for the young doctors? That's the only reason I'm coming. And there's a bigger problem there, heading in the KKM and a lot of problems. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm going to do. That's why I'm going to focus. But be honest, I'll focus the major problems of how to transform the MMA to the institution, from the association to the institution, and make it relevant. That's one reason I'm here. Thank you.
Thank you. Lana?
Yeah, I think I will look at three important visions. One is teamwork, professionalism, high degree of integrity. Whatever issues, whatever KPI that we put, I think these are three things should be there. There will be many issues to come. I think we should be very professional in doing things. We should work as a team, and I think we should be highly integrated about this. I think whatever issues, challenges that in MMA, I think all these can be solved. I think there are many issues to be solved. I think I've clearly put my 5 KPI, monitor this 5 KPI, but I like to use this KKM slogan, professionalism, teamwork, and high degree of integrity into MMA if I am selected. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to remind the participants that even when we end this live session, you can still go back to the MMA Facebook group and engage by answering the comments. Yeah. Put the person's name and answer.
There are many more comments. I think in the interest of time, we can't highlight, so we just have to be selective, unfortunately.
Yeah, so must apologize to those who can't be featured. Right. Well, I think
one last one, Ashok.
Right.
Because we've taken almost 1 hour 40 minutes. It's really.
Yeah.
If answer all the questions, you'll be here till midnight, I think.
Okay, so this is if you're elected, what the mechanism you'll introduce to see more younger median age group to contest for president-elect. Currently, the trend is almost all presidents are above 65 plus. Not all.
That's a good question.
Anyway, I will ask Tana to start answering this, and then.
Actually, WHO recently defined we are still young for that age group. We will say we are still young at 65. I think whatever age, it doesn't matter. It's what we want to do. But I think now the trend, more young fellas are joining in. I think maybe they are looking for a president who are young. And I can tell you, we are not young as they think. We are already crossing 55. So I do not know. I would consider by WHO that I am young, median age.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Dharma, please. What's
Age
your...
is actually subjective, because I am already 54, 55. So why, let me address this question. By introducing the youngsters, more young people, we can make MMA younger. By making younger, definitely they're going to be less aged people going to come in future. This is inevitable. So this is how we're going to do it. And if members want a young, please carry on. There are 30,000 youngsters are waiting there to be a member. Please carry on. So this is a soft power we call. Youngsters are the soft power.
Yes. Casey?
Well, when I first ran for president-elect post, somebody came up to me, "Dr. Ko, you are too young for the post. Please do not go in. You wait, bide your time." Well, I'm not yet 65, but I think experience counts. And as far as I'm concerned, what we have been doing and what I've been doing, you see, the students, they have their SMAMs, that is their Student Medical Association, where MMA has been pumping money in a budget to get them to know about MMA even before they graduate. And after they graduate, we engage them again, even before they start the housemanship and during housemanship, in the effort to get them to join MMA. So they need to join MMA at a younger age in order for them to see what MMA is all about and to gain the experience. And I do not know whether you are aware of our Junior Doctors Network. And this network is it was actually, the idea was mooted by MMA and taken up, it was started by WMA and then was taken up in this region by MMA. And we push this agenda to CMAO as well as our MASEAN, which is our regional associations. And it's a very strong network now. And through this network, we would get to see younger and younger people coming in. And, my challenge, I'm not that old, but, working with the young ones, it's a big challenge, but I get to learn so much from them. And MMA, yes, MMA is becoming younger, which is what I've been trying to say whole night long. MMA is becoming younger. So the old seniors are still there. We have to keep our seniors, take care of them, but MMA has got the data statistics shows that the age group is young. Okay.
Okay, Dato, I have kept the best for last.
I don't think so. Age matters because Tun has already proven beyond all doubt. And number two, it's a question of when are the youngsters ready? They will be recognized and we will bring them up, we'll carry them forward. You just can't expect to be planted on the president's chair when you're not ready yourself yet. They'll have to come up through the grassroots, progress properly, and then stake your claims for it. That's my advice to anybody. Age is not the question. And then whether you have that time. Like now, I'm offering myself, yes, I have all the time on earth. I'm so free. And with all the experience that I have, I think I will be in a better position to deliver. Then somebody say, I'm running for this, running for that, got to take care of this, that. Well, as all of you know, children are educated. They're all on their own. Only me and my wife looking after each other. So I'm happily offering myself now at this ripe old age to make sure that I can deliver. Delivery is the question. Thank you.
Thank you very much, all candidates. And thank you very much, Dr. Alante, for organizing this. This was the most heated session, I believe. I mean, Interesting.
Yeah, I think thanks. Actually, the idea came, if I'm not mistaken, from our HGS, Dr. Arasu, to
Yep.
actually have this, meet the candidates using new digital tools. I think COVID-19 has taught us a lot of how these digital tools like Zoom, webinars, and so on, and this studio, StreamYard, broadcasting to our Facebook groups is an excellent way, I think, which has shown us how the doctors can ask and engage. You can engage with our doctors directly, and it's really my hope. My best of luck to all of you. Whoever's elected, also do consider a virtual town hall as another way to meet the members at the grassroots. Whatever system you use, like this or Zoom or whatever, but meeting the grassroots, I think, has never been better served by the tools we have at hand, and how doctors can directly, engage with the leadership, and then have their concerns addressed. So I think this is the way forward, and I think, and also MMA has now embraced social media, something which was not present in the past, and all these are changing. And as Dr. Koh has said, also the MMA app is going to be overhauled, so there will be engagement and discussions amongst doctors within the app itself. So I think we have a very bright future ahead for doctors. Those who are not members of MMA, please do join, because this is the parent organization representing all of us. So whether free or not, or a few hundred ringgit a year, please participate, and this is your organization. So without unity, I think there's no strength amongst us. So I think so. Dr. Ashok, thank you for co-hosting. The comments were still there. We could not highlight all of them. I'm sorry, in the interest of time. But if the candidates can go in the Facebook groups, and then if there are individual questions you need to answer, please feel free. So thank you everybody for watching, and thank you for your participation, both the president-elects and those people who commented and asked questions. So Ashok, any last words from you?
Yeah.
Just good luck to all the candidates.
Yes.
Great
Thank you.
meeting you're conducting.
All the best.
Yes.
And,
So see you all at the AGM.
Yes.
End of the month.
and
Yeah.
now,
Thank
just
you,
one
Dr.
word. If I have to
All the best.
in my
My
speech anything belittle or any of you or that does not respect, I apologize. Apologize for such a friend.
All right.
That's one, and I'm happy to work with you all. I hope I didn't harm anybody by mentioning of my things. Hopefully we are friends. We worked always together. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Good night, guys. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Good night and all the best.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Bye.
We're going to end the live broadcast now.
Alan, sorry, I took you